I've spent $8,669 on this game, Whiteout Survival, in 67 days. If you haven't followed me before, I'm doing this experiment where I'm spending $15,000 all through the course of 2026. I'm going to see how much power that grows. I'm documenting my journey as a player and on the spend. I kind of talk through my spend. I ask for your help from the community. There's a lot of veterans that join me and give me a lot of advice. So basically, I'm trying to learn to be an efficient whale. That's what I'm calling myself, an efficient whale. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick to that budget. So if you want to learn if that's going to happen or not, you're in the right place. Make sure you give me a like and subscribe and turn on notifications because I do go live every now and then. Here's what I want to do tonight. I'm going to try to test this bloom battle. So basically, I've heard different things on the different ratios, but what I did is I went ahead and I turned on a bunch of buffs, and I got the president to give me the Ministry of Strategy. So I've got some nice stacking buffs here with the troops deployment and the buffs for deployment capacity, and the, Ministry of Strategy with the troops attack, as well as the other buffs. So hopefully this will be a nice setup that we can do some testing. And I did this, I didn't really want to spend this just for this event, but they do say that this is kind of like a whale battle. I did take first place yesterday. It was kind of like experimental. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to try to test some theories that I've heard. I get 5 hits, and I'm going to test 5 different, maybe not 5 different ratios, but I'm going to test at least 3 different ratios that I've heard. And I know there's a certain amount of random aspect to this as well. At least that's what I saw, because I think when I did 2-2-98 yesterday, and that worked well, except for the first hit. That worked pretty well. I've heard that be documented as a good ratio, but I basically heard that this is a similar scenario to Bear, and it's very dependent on your heroes. And, I'm in Gen 2 right now. So that's what I'm going to do. Those are the buffs I have enabled. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I attack this thing with, let's see, a ratio of, I'm going to start with 1-1-98, because that's a common ratio that we use for Bear. And these are my best heroes, and I got those battle bonuses there. So let's see what type of damage we get. I don't think I'm missing anything. Let's see what type of damage we get. Takes a little bit to get there and then come back. In the meantime, let me just clear some reports out. Just did Crazy Joe tonight. That worked out pretty well. Now, I've heard people say 2-2-98 is really good. I've heard people say like 1-10-98. So I'm going to test a couple different ratios and see what works best for me. All right, so I did 11.5 mil damage and earned 116,000 points on that hit. All right. Oh, I don't have to keep going back. Okay, so now when that rally comes back, because that's my primary, that's my strongest rally right there. So see, somebody, like, I think this is our leader here, put this in here, 0, 9, 10, 90. So I'm going to test that too. But now I'm going to test with the other ratio that I've heard. And this is what I used yesterday. I used 2-2-96. All right, and let's see how that hits. Now, to me, if it follows Bear rules, I mean, it seems to me like the 1-1-98 should be the strongest, especially in this gen. I don't know that that these other, benefits and features of these, the special moves and stuff of these heroes is going to matter that much in Gen 2. But we'll see. See what happens here. All right. Oh, all right. So that's the 2-2-96, and this is what I used yesterday. Now let's see what happens if I use... I'm kind of tempted, just because our leader put it on there. I want to see what that does. 0, 10, 90. This is for the sake of the vid. Like, really, yesterday I just did 2-2-96 all day, and that really worked well. But I'm kind of curious now. So now let's check his ratio that he recommended and see how that works. I'm going to go 0, 10, 90. And see how that works. 0, 10, 90. This is, win or lose this event, I'm just doing it for the sake of the vid and the sake of experimentation here. See how that lands. I personally, I'm a little actually surprised that the 2296 worked as well as it did. If anybody knows the game mechanics of why, please drop me a comment and help me understand. Why did 2296 do better than 1198? Is it because there is a random aspect of this battle as well? Let's take a look. All right, that was not as good. That was almost, well, it was just a little bit better than 1198, but it wasn't as good as 2296. So I think those are all, actually, I think that's the only combinations I want to try. I have heard people say some other combinations, but let's try this again with the 2296 is the one I used all day yesterday, and that did seem to work really well. And let's see if there's a random aspect to it. So I'm going to go back to 2296, and I've heard this in, a bunch of content creators and stuff recommended this ratio. Let's see how that hits. And then we'll see. Maybe, I think I saw yesterday that there was a little bit of a random variation to it, so maybe that comes into play as well. See them all zooming in. I was worried yesterday too that this bear would, like, I thought it was going to be like the mercenary tanks where only so many people get a hit and then it goes away, but it's really more like bear. So, oh, well, that didn't do as good. That was only 114,945. So there definitely does seem to be some kind of randomness going on here. Because previously, this was when I did 2296, and I got 125. So maybe it's actually hard for people to recommend the right ratio because it's going to be a little different every time because of the random aspect. So, I don't know but the thing is that was actually less than the 0.1090. So let's try one more ratio just for the sake of experimentation. I'll go with 1. How about 495? just because I'm curious. Actually, yeah, I guess. Well, the other one did give me a 2, so it is tempting. But I guess, how about if I go? Because I've heard people say that you need a little bit of infantry to activate that. So let's try that. Let's try 1990. See if that matters at all. I don't know, it does from my experimentation yesterday, but it was only using 2296. I did see a wide variation in the damage. I didn't expect that big of a variation in the damage though. So again, if somebody can explain to me that mechanic, it looks to me like it's got to be just some aspect of randomness going on there. And then we'll see what my final score tallied up to be. I think it was like 620 yesterday. Oh, that did much better. That doesn't look like you can attribute that to randomness. So some amount of infantry is needed, and then a little bit of lancer, and a bunch of marksmen. But that was a pretty good score there, 141,804. So, all right, let's see where that landed me. Claim all those rewards. Let's see where that landed me on the leaderboard in total. That's not even as much as I made yesterday. I was at 620 yesterday. I think was it 620 or 602? I think it's gone from the history now, but I'll have to look at my video yesterday. I think I showed it yesterday. But I thought I was at 620. Maybe I was only at 602. If so, that's just a little bit bigger, a little bit better. All right, so that's the Bloom battle and my little experimentation there. And I'll continue pressing that. Maybe I should do this experiment every day and listen to the ratios that you guys tell me. I don't want to do any crazy ratios that I know are going to be bad, But anything that you guys have a recommendation of, where some mix of the different mix of the infantry and lancer especially, I'd be interested to kind of just experiment with that tomorrow. The problem is I'm going to have to keep spending on all these buffs to do the experiment. Well, maybe not, but yeah, I think I would have to do that to make sure that it was like kind. But I'll continue to press the Petals of Desire daily grind. I'm not going to do that on camera, obviously. And the other thing that I said I was doing is I'm going to buy these up into the $10 mark every day. Now, there is something I want to talk about here. I did talk to a bunch of people. It's something I'm I guess I'll say struggling with. This is going to get me about 1,500 shells through the course of the event. I'm talking about being an efficient whale. Yet the first thing I end up going for in some of these events are things like the island decorations, where 1% lethality and health. I'm going to end up spending $90 on this event, and I'll unlock this and this 1% troops defense over here for that $90. That $90 is probably better spent. This shop isn't all that great right now compared to what a lot of you guys have. I have no mithril in here. I have no, there's no like widgets if I really wanted widgets. There is some, the Lucky Hero gear chests, but really probably the best value in here would be the charm guides and charm designs, which I can get, quite a few of at that price. I didn't do the math on how much it would actually equate to as far as, dollars, but I'd be able to get a bunch of those, and that would probably generate a lot more power than the island decorations. However, if I ever want the Harbor of Hope, which I do want it at some point, and this unique island decoration, which isn't all that expensive, but this is the big spend here, the big expense. If I ever want it at all, this seems like a good value way to get it. So island decorations do tend to be expensive to try to build over time. So yes, I could build it over time, but it's going to be expensive to build it over time as well, because it requires these what are these? I forget what they're called, blueprints or something. And you have to get more of them and more of the scrolls and all this type of stuff. So, but again, the problem is if I ever want it at all, I need to try to pick it up during an event that gives it at a decent price. And last time I saw this, I think, I don't know if it was Tundra Adventures or the one before, but it wasn't all that cheap, So $90 to be able to pick this up as part of this event is the reason I'm thinking about doing it. But I didn't pull the trigger on it. I'm not going to buy it until the end of the event. But I am curious, because everyone's got different opinions on this. This is a complicated one. Do you want to consider that an efficient spend? It is, in the sense that if my goal is to eventually get that decoration unlocked, what's the most cost-effective way to get it? But is it efficient in the sense of generating power? No, probably not. No, definitely not, I would say. It's not the most efficient way to get power, but it is the most efficient way to get a unique item in the game. So this is what I'm thinking. I think I am going to do that so that I can unlock Harbor of Hope, at least, so that I just have it unlocked, in the same with this island decoration. I'm not going to worry about this teleport skin. It is not just cosmetics. It also has the troop lethality 2%. But, I don't know. I would never use it. I would just essentially use it for the 2%. This doesn't appeal to me as a cosmetic, but the 2% troops lethality does. But again, I'll be able to get that lethality in other ways, so I'm not sure I really need to worry about that. And I'm going to have a limited budget ultimately. I think I might actually have just barely enough to get all three of those if I really wanted to, but I think what I would rather do is use the surplus on some either some Lucky Hero gear chest for the gears, or some probably charm guides, because I think I'm a little bit low on charm guides in comparison, for power. So that's what I'm thinking there. But that's my spend. Yeah, that's my spend for tonight on the petals, on the shell packs. And then I'll continue to work for the petals, and then I'll show that later. So the other thing I want to do is I'm not worrying about these right now because I'm spending on the other event, but I am going to pick up the daily deals like I always do. So I don't know, there might come a point where I don't see the need to do this anymore, but right now it sure is nice to get those general shards kind of adding up, so that when the next gen drops, I'll be able to get, I think Mia's probably coming next, right? Gen 3. And I'll be able to use those to get her in a good state real quick. So that's all that's... Oh, by the way, look, there's another 5%. Oh, it's not in here, but you can see the 5% pulsating up here. So if you ever want to pick up extra frost stars, now's the time, because they don't do that sale all the time, and I might do that on my low spend account. And then we have it's just some standard stuff here, so make sure I grab do the deposit there. Grab this. I don't see anything else here I need to worry about. And on the deal, oh, that was just on the deals. Yeah, events, grinding this away. So soon I'll be able to get that closed out as well. This is just a matter of a couple days. Hall of Chiefs. Haven't really been working on this at all. I'm taking what I can. So, 24, 58. I don't know what I'm going to come in today. I'm not pressing this at all. Trying to save as much as I can for SVS, so not worried about that at all. And Lucky Wheel, I'm not doing it all, but somebody did have a really good suggestion. Grab the free token, what are these called? Lucky Chips, and save them for future Lucky Wheel spins, because I don't need this right now. And I'm not gonna, somebody recommended, oh, do the spins and then save the flint shards and convert them, but that's not they're not gonna convert at a good ratio. It'd be better to just wait. There's no reason for me to waste gems on that right now. And so let's see, that's all we have there. Crazy Joe, we had Crazy Joe and Bear today. Bear Hunt wasn't really, we didn't have a lot of people online for Bear Hunt today, but here's where my ranking was for Crazy Joe. Not that great, because I didn't get all my troops out. It was hard for me we didn't have everybody online, and it was right at the reset, and I was worried about arena, so I don't think I played all that well today. And we do have another castle battle coming up in about 4 days that we have to figure out. So that's where things stand there. Now let me just go through, the hero gear. I'm slowly progressing Geronimo's gear and Alonso's gear. I'm not really too worried about arena anymore. I'm just trying to do what I can in arena. I am still spending gems on arena, but really just so I can try to get some arena tokens for Mithril. And, slowly working on getting Geronimo's gear red as I can progress it. So that's where things stand there.
I'm back.
All right. And the last thing are our pets. Let's see where pets are. So pets, again, I'm just slowly bringing these up. I'll, do them through the adventures. As I understand it, you get the most amount of points through. Somebody said you get the points for advancing them as well. But as I understand it, you get the most points for using refinement. And this is what I'm saving up for SVS. So I'll save the refinement for SVS. And I've been told don't use advanced wild marks for the first gen pets. So until the better pets come out, I'm not even going to use advanced wild marks. But that's where we stand on this. I'll just clear these out quick. Can I clear them out? Yeah, I can't really clear them out because they need to start marching, so just do that quick. That's where my pets stand. Just the entry-level pets. We're working along the way. So that's all I have for tonight as far as spending. That's where things stand with the romance event. If you have any advice for me on some of these events, oh, by the way, there is another event. There's another event in the romance, this Marvelous Fantasia. I'm going to have to study this one a little bit and see. I don't think this is worth me spending on, because when I looked at the honor ranking things here, I mean, the biggest thing that's nice about this is the skin tokens. But, I mean, I'm not going to say it's purely cosmetic, but it's just the thing we just talked about. Like, if I'm going for certain things that are purely cosmetic with a very low stats increase, that's a lot of money spent to try to chase this stuff, and not for a lot of, benefit. So about the only thing this would get me is like working towards the mushroom city skin. And, I'll get it when I get it. It's going to be a long grind to get there, but I'll get it when I get it. So I don't know. I don't really feel like spending on this, but I'll see. Maybe I will spend a little bit on it if I find that I like the game. There are missions here for playing the game and stuff that will get some extra tokens as well. But these are the boots. Let's see. Yeah, and then the rewards. Essentially, yeah, there's some neat rewards in here. but they're not, this is all cosmetic. So like, do I want to spend $5 on these boosts, like just to play this game a little more and unlock some of the skin tokens? I don't know. That doesn't feel like a great purchase right now. So I don't know. I'll play around with this game a little bit and then we'll see where that lands. But that's all I have for tonight. If you like this content and you want to see where my journey goes, you want to see how much I'm spending, if I'm able to stay on budget, if you want to be able to like give me advice and see how I use that advice or don't. Some people get frustrated when I don't use their advice, but it's because I get a lot of advice from a lot of different people. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and you turn on notifications because I do go live every now and then. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.